Gravity Falls, a show of humor, mystery, and casual viewing. Unless you're me. My name is Christian. You're probably wondering why I'm dressed as Tipper Pines and about to rewatch the entire series. Rest assured, there's a perfectly logical explanation.
All right, now we'll move on to Little Gift Shop of Horrors, and this is probably going to be just a quick review because this episode is technically non-canon. I mean, there's a couple elements that kind of tie into the overall continuity of Gravity Falls, but not too much. But I'll just jump right into it. So yeah, the basic premise is kind of like a Treehouse of Terror kind of episode, kind of like the Halloween episodes of The Simpsons. There's like these different segments and everything. So it's like Stan kind of greets this kind of unseen visitor to the Mystery Shack and then kind of convinces him to buy all these different products from the Mystery Shack and kind of tells the backstory of all these different products and convinces him to buy it. So there's about 4 different stories, and one of the stories is about a hand witch. Basically, the hand witch is like a witch who steals people's hands. You know, she has like a bunch of like hand minions that are like kind of crawling around, you know, doing her bidding and everything. The characters kind of go to this swap meet, and the hand witch tries to like ask Stan out for a date, but then obviously he's like repulsed by her and like, you know, turns her down, and she's like obviously upset. And then we also see the agents in the background at the swap meet. So that kind of continues the continuity of them continuing on, you know, watching over the Pines family and kind of like seeing what they're up to. So the next day she like steals his hands, and then the Pines family kind of goes on a quest to like find the hands and everything like that. And they kind of go into the cave and see like the hand sculling around. They see like the hand throne that looks like the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones or something. You know, Mabel tries to like appeal to her humanity and everything and say like, hey, you know, you don't have to steal people's hands. You can just like be yourself and everything, and people will love you for who you are. And the hand witch, you know, accepts that, and then, you know, gives Stan his hands back. And then, you know, the Pines family leaves, and then, you know, this random hiker comes and then, you know, like flirts with the hand witch, and then, you know, it's kind of like happily ever after kind of thing with that. The reason why like I bring it up is because like the hand witch like may or may not be canon, because after Stan tells the story, like the kind of hand like crawls up him and like kind of goes into his hat. So it's like, okay, does this actually happen, or is this like a fake story or something? And then the hand witch is also brought up in term number 3, you know, not really spoilers for that, but brings up an encounter with a hand witch at like a swap meet or something. And then the other kind of like somewhat kind of canon character is a character called Shimmery Twinkleheart, which is kind of like this giant claymation star character. And one of the stories is that Mabel is afraid of claymation. So the Pines family goes to the creator of the stop motion animation movie that they watch, named Harry Claymore, to, you know, try to convince her that it's all fake, it's all just a show and everything. But then they realize that stop motion animation is like real, and they confront these giant stop motion animation characters who have like Harry Claymore hostage. Eventually Mabel gets over her fear and, you know, saves the day and everything like that. And, you know, one of the giant characters starts off as like a giant cyclops. Mabel jumps in, kind of reanimates him into Shimmery Twinkleheart, so to kind of get her over her fear, even though it didn't really work to get her over her fear, but, you know, at least she was able to, you know, save the day and everything like that. And I bring it up because like that character will appear again in one of the later episodes, you know, towards the finale of the series, but it's kind of like a Easter egg kind of thing. It's not really anything plot driven, so that's why I just kind of bring it up there. And then lastly, there's like one more story where Wallace becomes smart, and, you know, is voiced by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and the whole premise of that story is that Dipper is trying to find a way to become smarter. So, you know, he creates this shroom serum that he kind of like rubs on his forehead to, you know, make him smarter, but then Wallace ends up licking it off during the night, and then he becomes the smart one, and then Dipper and Waddle kind of form a bond, and then Mabel becomes jealous of them. But then, you know, as the story goes on, Waddles kind of remembers all the good times that he had with Mabel, and then we kind of get references to like time traveler's pig, and, you know, how he needs to kind of get rid of this smart serum, become normal Waddles again, and then get back together with Mabel and everything. So that happens. But yeah, again, just like another kind of reference to last season, and, you know, nothing really too crazy. We also get a couple of cryptograms in the episode. During the ending credits, we get a cryptogram, and after using the key visionaire cipher, it translates to check out Dr. Waddle's latest book, A Brief History on Oink 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 Oink, and the keyword is non-canon, which is found on the upper level rail planks in Harry Claymore's home. Also in the page section at the end of the episode, we get 2 sequences of numbers, and after being put through the combined cipher, it translates to all animation is black magic. But yeah, again, it's like a fine episode, definitely just like another one and done, you know, non-canon episode. You know, you could skip it if you want to and wouldn't really miss anything. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up a couple things here and there, you know, just to talk about like the references and tie-ins to the overall series.